All right, so my hair is at that really awkward stage because I'm growing out my bangs, and I'm just determined to grow them out. So my hair, I can't put it in the front because if I do, it'll be in my face and my eyes. But it doesn't look good hanging down the side either, like it just kind of hangs there. So we just have a kind of an awkward hair night as I grow out my bangs. All right, I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. I want to thank you so much for being here. Here we have a story. My husband hid $200,000 of debt from me. I will link. I will try to remember. I always try to remember. I don't always succeed, but most of the time I do. We did a story just a few days back. People remember that was the physician husband with the spending problem, and he put his wife a few $100,000 in debt, like to the tune of 300,000. They sold a piece of property to get out of the debt, and then what does he do? Turn around and he does it all over again because he clearly has a spending addiction. All right, so he was hiding that from his wife after saying, "Oh, I'll never do it again." So let's hear this. My husband hid $200,000 of debt from me, and find out exactly what the story is. Get your tea. Let's do it.
Let's go to Ella in Los
Hi,
Angeles,
Ella.
California. What's up, Ella?
Hi there.
How we doing?
Not too good to be 100% honest.
Oh,
Finally, an honest caller. Finally, someone who calls in. Some of these people call in. They're in this awful debt situation, and they sound so cheerful. Dave or one of his hosts will say, "So how you doing?" They're like, "Oh, I'm doing just great, Jack." And then it's, "Oh, and by the way, I'm $400,000 in student loan debt. My wife left me, and the dog got hit by a car." Okay, I'm not, well, hopefully not that, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of like it's okay to say you're having a bad day. We don't have to pretend that it's just all great. So, kudos to the caller for being honest. All right.
thank you so much for being honest. What's up?
So my husband and I have been married for 4 years, and he has a son from a previous marriage, and it's a really bad, it was a bad divorce. My stepson's almost 10, and they're still in a custody battle, and I found out that my husband, well, we lived out of state, and we moved 3 years ago to be closer to his son, and that was a horrible decision because we don't have any family, but my husband has racked up about $200,000 in debt to his attorney.
Oh, everybody. Okay, inhale and exhale. Woohoo! That was some serious tea, and that took her 46 seconds, and that doesn't even count. Now that's after saying the hello. Okay, for those of you walkers out there, because I know some of you be walking to this, so you can't see the screen. I believe it's John. Okay, he's got his head on the desk, and is it Ken? Ken looks like he needs some medication for some upset tummy, and I'm just sitting here drinking my mango drink. Wow, 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 wow. I can already predict where this is going. Okay, she doesn't like the son. I can already predict that she and the son, her husband, her new husband, her stepson, they have not built a relationship. And 10 is a very awkward age. Okay, I come from divorced parents. Okay, divorce at these days is a dime a dozen. I mean, it's never, don't get me wrong, divorce is not a dime a dozen when it's you. All right, so, because I've been divorced, so don't misread that. But what I do mean is, as far as, it's so prevalent everywhere now. Okay, but I think that's probably because people are living longer too. It used to be, what was it in the olden days? If you were 60 and you were still with someone you didn't like, you could pretty much be assured that one of you was going to be gone within next 5-10 years. Now you can be together at 85, 90. All right. Wow, that's a lot. I hope I think she said she didn't know about the debt, but it's the relationship with the son. She has two big, big hurdles, and I suspect already they should have been addressed. At least the money one should have certainly been addressed before she got married, but the son one had to have absolutely been addressed. Wow.
Oh my
And he's on a payment plan of $12,000 a month.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's not enough mango in this juice with Greek yogurt. Oh, okay, guys, I don't usually do this. We're just going to run this part one more time. Bear with me. If you want to see it uninterrupted without the yakking and the gabbing, it'll be in the description. Just one more time. Here we go.
years, and he has a son from a previous marriage, and it's a really bad, it was a bad divorce. My stepson's almost 10, and they're still in a custody battle, and I found out that my husband, well, we lived out of state, and we moved 3 years ago to be closer to his son, and that was a horrible decision because we don't have any family, but my husband has racked up about $200,000 in debt to his attorney.
Oh my.
And he's on a payment plan of $12,000 a month.
Oh.
And this was all a surprise. I had no idea. I knew something was up, so I went into his email, which I shouldn't have done, and I saw the bill, and I felt like I was going to be sick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I told him this morning I wanted a divorce.
She sounds sick. She sounds ill. Now, some people could say, well, the good side is, if you can find any, he obviously clears money to pay $12,000 a month. But $12,000 a month, even on the best income. Wow. And even if he had the money to clear the $12,000, it's the fact that she didn't know. Even if he had the money to clear it. Obviously, if he's on a payment plan, $12,000 a month, it appears he can pay it. So he's got quite a shovel, but damn. Oh, my Lord, my Lord. Okay, all right. What's that mean? Damn. Okay.
I mean, we've just been fighting all the time over this.
This really kills the romance. This really kills the romance. Nothing like, oh, here's my $200,000 debt you didn't know about that goes to my attorney at $12,000 a month. And here's the thing. It's more than just the $12,000 a month. We'll just look at that as dollars, okay? Yep, okay, that's the dollar figure that goes out. It's the legal liability that he is involved in that she is unaware of as his wife. And that, to me, would be where the even bigger injustice would be. It's, yes, the $12,000 a month going out the door is quite one thing. But like I said, somebody could say, well, apparently he can afford it, so he's making a whole lot of money. But let's put that dollar aside. It's the legal jeopardy, the legal contracts, the legal involvements that he is in, that she, as his wife, is fully unaware of. She could wake up one day and find herself in court over some lawyer bill contract she was absolutely clueless over. You see? That's where I would be the most angry. Is basically, you put me in a legal situation. You didn't give me, as your wife, you didn't give me notice, or as your future, going to be your future wife, you didn't give me notice that you had these legal contracts. And perhaps if she had known this wouldn't be anything she would have divorced over, you see? But the fact that you didn't tell the person, hey, I have a legal bill to an attorney at $12,000 a month. What would happen if the husband, okay, God forbid, dropped dead, and now the attorney, she winds up in court, and she's like, what am I in court for? Oh, well, your deceased husband owes $12,000 a month towards this legal bill, and now, lady, as his wife, pay up. Turn over your house, turn over your IRS tax refunds, turn over your paychecks. That, to me, is where the biggest egregious wrong has been done. It's the legal liability he basically set her up for that she has no way to even know. And had she known about it at the beginning, and he had said, hey, honey, $12,000 is, this is the attorney, here is the contract that we have, okay? She might have been able to deal with that. Because like I said, he's clearly making a lot of money. And this doesn't even touch on the relationship with the child, which is the even greater issue than that. These are almost two non-negotiables. Two non-negotiables is the way I see it. The first is the legal jeopardy. You put that person in, and you don't tell me about it. Basically, we could hit a brick wall, and I would have no idea the wall was coming, but you knew, but you didn't tell me the brick wall was coming. Okay, these liabilities, these debts. And then the second non-negotiable is the relationship with the child. You cannot, and my parents, like I said, are divorced, okay? But when they remarried, they remarried people with kids. At least my mom did, okay? You can't kick the kids to the curb, not at 10 years old. You can't even kick them to the curb when they're adults. They are a part of the family. There is no kicking the kid to the curb at any age. Okay, and I want to thank my parents because when they got remarried, I should say my step parents. Okay, love my stepmother. She's my mom. I even hate using the term stepmom because I feel like, but I just do that so people understand the family tree. But to me, she is as equal as my late mom. There is no difference. I call her mom. So she did not kick me to the curb when she married my dad. Almost 40 years ago. Okay, these are two non-negotiables. I can see why she wants a divorce. I would too.
For the past 3 years, well, he's been fighting for custody, and he told me that he's not going to stop until he gets full custody. And I had no idea he was filing for full custody, and I don't want full custody of his son because I'm
okay. Right there, right there. This marriage needs to be ended. When you marry someone with kids, there's always a risk that you're going to become a full-time parent. Okay? You marry somebody with kids. What happens if one of the parents unfortunately passes away? You can't marry somebody who has kids, okay, minor children, and it's not so much of an issue when they become adults, of course, but when they have minor children and you marry somebody with minor kids, you are marrying the kids just as well. That is a non-negotiable. And I don't even have parents, and I'll tell you, that is a non-negotiable. I marry somebody, okay, they have joint custody. We're dealing with minors, of course. The other parent passes, they become our full-time custody. And if that is something that any man or woman cannot handle, I don't fault them for that. There's no blame in that, but don't marry. And be honest with yourself. You cannot marry somebody and say, well, it's only conditional as long as the kid stays on the other side of the block 75% of the time. Nah. When my parents married, the four of us girls lived with my mom. Okay, my dad remarried to the best woman ever. And then, don't get me wrong, I love my late mom too, but man, my stepmom is just something else. Absolutely love her. And then when my dad remarried, um, I was losing my train of thought. Okay, so my dad remarries. All four of us girls were living with my mom. But then it was decided that, for the convenience of both, but of all parties involved, two of the kids went to go live with my dad. And two of them, they had a high school out there they really wanted to go to. It was just easier. So I couldn't imagine my stepmom going, oh, no, no, no. Those two kids ain't coming over. No, they wound up living there full time. She accepted them. Just that you can't place conditions on, in my opinion. And I'm not even a parent, okay? But to me, if I marry somebody with children and they have minor children, um, I'm sorry, their home can at any time, their home situation can change at any time. Their living situation at any time. Okay? And if that is something that an individual, she doesn't even appear to like the kid. Forget how she feels about the husband. Her tone towards the child is almost crap, we're only in this a minute and 22 seconds. Oh my God, I got so much to say. People's tones and words say a lot, sometimes in just a few minutes. Because this came as a total surprise to me. I was not thinking it was kind of going in this direction, all right? But you cannot marry somebody and then put conditions on how the kids are going to live there if the time comes that they need to be there all the time. But where the husband did her wrong was not telling her what he was legally trying to do. Because the other thing you also have to consider, and I hate to say it, but it is a money show, okay? She's thinking about where her money's going, and she's thinking, okay, the child lives there, at least for the time, and yada, yada. And then she's finding out everything's being blown to try to get full custody of his kids. And we know statistically, what it's like for a man to get full custody of the kids. She had a right to know this, because with her having a right to know this, then she had the right to decide if this was the right relationship for her. There is no fault in being able to say, I don't want minor children. That's no fault. Okay, fine. You go your way, I go mine. No hard feelings. But there is fault when you don't tell the person you want to marry, hey, I'm going to spend every last dime that you and I bring in so I can get my son here. So, and this is completely the fault of the father. 100%.
a stay-at-home mom, and I would have to be the one to deal with him. And he has some developmental issues. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what they are, but he has a lot of behavioral problems.
So he has special needs. He has special needs that, perhaps he doesn't work mainstream. And something she needs to consider about. I'm assuming she knew this. But that's quite an assumption to assume that he's never going to live with you. And like she was saying, she'd have to be a stay-at-home mom to a special needs child. Would she be prepared, might never, ever be fully capable of living on his own. That happens sometimes.
And I can't take that on, and I don't know what to do.
And I don't blame her for not taking that on. I'm not mad at her. Okay? I am not mad at her one bit. And there'll be people go, oh, well, she's just selfish. I'm single without children. You know how many times I've been asked, well, are you selfish because you don't have children? Oh, hell. Go back and look at some of my earlier videos when I first started becoming a reaction channel. Best thing I did was I know my limit. I knew my place. I stayed in my lane. All right. And that's where I continue to travel. So I'm the best I can be for society. She had a right to know all of this. I would divorce too. But in some ways, I have to backtrack and say it's not completely the father's fault. Where her fault comes in is she had to have known this child was special needs. Okay. Special needs or not, her fault, if I had to put some of the blame on her, is she should have been honest with herself. Forget the money. Let's put all the money and the attorney stuff aside. Let's just look at the child. Because like I said, these are two non-negotiables. She should have been more honest with herself. Special needs or not, would she be happy living with a 10-year-old boy and raising him? Special needs or not. Something happens to mom, she can't take care of the child, she doesn't want to take him, whatever the case may be. All right? No judgment there. But the child winds up full-time on the door. Could she handle that? And if she knew deep in her heart of hearts she could not handle that, then that responsibility falls on her. She should have been able to tell him, hey, you know what? This isn't for me. And I'm going to go one step further to something else. I don't think I've ever said this much in a minute and 38 seconds. Oh, Lord. Okay. There's a lot to unpack, people. This is like, oh my gosh. Okay, we aren't even 2 minutes in the video. She has said a lot. Here's another thing she's also said. I'm getting all this from a minute and 38 seconds. He clearly makes money if he can pay $12,000, all right? What are the chances are she partly married him because he's very wealthy? If you can afford 12, do the math. I need my Alexa in here. Alexa's in the kitchen, okay? Do 12,000 times 12, okay? Where's my Alexa? No Alexa? Okay, and I'm horrible at math. Do 12,000 by, obviously he's paying over 100 grand a year. 120 grand, 30, 40. The guy makes money. So guess what? That also tells me she thought she could put up with it because the child would be away, maybe come for visitation, and she could live a really nice life that she wanted to live away from a child she really doesn't seem to give two rips about. And I'm not even sure, I'm not even sure she's really in love with the man. Okay? I'm going to stop short of calling her a gold digger. I'm going to stop short of that. All right? But I do have to wonder, knowing now what his income might be, okay, obviously he makes a lot, okay, if she perhaps, she always knew she didn't want to be an SAHM, stay-at-home mom, and she always knew she didn't like the kid, but the father made enough money, she's like, I can overlook all of this while the child is over there. But now that she's finding out the dad's trying to get custody, all right, now she's like, whoa, wait a minute. This was not the lap of luxury I thought I was going to be living in. Hey, it's a thought.
I feel like crying almost.
Yeah, first one, yes.
Notice she has not once, however, expressed that she had any love for this man. Think about that. So far, of course, we're only a minute and 42 seconds now into it. She's never expressed, I was really in love with this guy, and I was really in love with this guy, and he just broke my heart. We haven't heard anything about that. Just something to think about.
That's the appropriate response. You're in the middle of a hurricane right now. It's a lot. Crying is a smart, good
has she taken her husband by the hand and said, I can't breathe. I'm really scared. Just a thought.
Healthy thing to do right now. You've got a lot that you just put out there. What can we help you with today?
Well, I'm almost to the point where I want to just, it's really hard to do the debt snowball when he keeps, this attorney's like $600 an hour. It's some high-profile attorney in like Santa Monica. I don't know how we would do the debt snowball when he keeps adding more money, and I also don't want to pay for this because I feel like as a spouse he should have come to me and said, hey, I'm thinking about getting full custody. What do you think?
Exactly. I'm sure John Delaney's going to go 100%, okay? This would have given her the opportunity to decide if she wants her resources, if she wants the emotional issues, because a bitter divorce. It would have given her the opportunity to decide, does she want to be a part of this? And if she said no, that's okay. But I stress, how much of it she already knew. I guarantee it to you, she married this man not liking his son. I guarantee it to you 100%. But the money she thought would be, still worth it.
And so listen. We call it financial infidelity here. We call it betrayal everywhere. We call it dishonesty. We call it lying. Whatever word you want to call it. But your guts all over your kitchen floor, that feeling is correct. Part of you was stolen. Part of your relationship was stolen from you.
It's a heck of a thing to think, oh, gee, you know what? I could be a full-time stay-at-home mom to a special needs child. If this was not the lifestyle she was looking at, she needs to end it. Like I said, these are two non-negotiables. You can't negotiate the needs of a child, okay? And you can't negotiate someone who's going to put you in legal jeopardy and you don't even know it's happening.
And if I'm him, I don't get the betrayal part. I don't get the dishonesty part. I get I'll go to the ends of the earth for my son. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a conversation you have with your wife, right? Especially to the tune of $200,000. And it's illogical. You can't pay that. And so your feelings are justified and good. What I don't want you doing in the midst of this pain is lobbing grenades back. That doesn't help anybody. I'd love for you to get with some people in your life that you can circle up with and can help you walk through this piece by piece, because there's lots of pieces. This isn't the moment for baby steps. This is the moment for your
How long have they been married?
marriages.
You basically told him this morning you want a divorce, and I understand why you would say that. There's no judgment here, but did you mean it, or did you just throw that out there?
No. This woman meant it. She has no intention of potentially being a stay-at-home mom to a special needs child. No, she meant it. Woman to woman, we women know. Okay? She meant it. Her mind's already made up. All she really needs is she just needs the steps on how to go through it. Her mind's made up, and the kicker is the special needs child. That's the final notch. She might even hang through it if it was okay, a $20,000 divorce attorney, no kids, or kids who were, all raised. But the fact that he has a 10-year-old special needs child and he's willing to go to the ends of the earth, to get him. And again, like I said, what are the odds of a father getting full custody of a special needs child if the mother is proven to be competent? Not saying it's right, okay? And if you've watched me earlier in other videos, when the first reaction videos I made, I said, if I were a divorce attorney, I would defend the father. Don't want to get into it. That's just the way I roll. I would defend the father. That's because of my personal life experience. Okay, I would be an attorney for the dad. So trust me, I'm not trying to be judgmental here. Okay, so.
Well, honestly, these past 3 years, I've probably threatened divorce. Honestly, it's like every other week.
Yeah, the marriage is over. I've said it earlier in another video. Once somebody threatens with divorce, I'm done. Call it done. My experience. Okay? Once your spouse says, you know what, I think we should just end it. Or your spouse says, you know what, I'm divorcing. I learned that the hard way. Once your spouse says it, I don't give a crap if 15 years happens in between. 10 years happens. Don't care. Once your spouse has said it, It's there. If that's what she's threatening, she doesn't want to be in this marriage anymore. And honestly, in many ways, this is her ticket out.
I'm threatening divorce.
So Ella,
and
let's
there's a
stop
lot
that.
of
Let's stop that.
issues.
Yeah.
Which also, to some extent, shows her level of immaturity. It does. That's an immature, that's a middle school thing to do. I'm going to divorce you today, I'm going to divorce you tomorrow, I'm going to divorce you next week. No, just effing divorce.
Let's don't threaten divorce anymore. Either I've reached the end of what I'm going to tolerate when it comes to the deception and getting dragged through the mud and you living a dual life and your dishonesty, all that. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Or I'm all in on this, but we have to be all in on this together. Like, you got one or two options. Threatening divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a weak, childish play.
Amen.
Don't weaponize relationships and make that. Say I'm in or I'm out.
Yeah.
And then once you say I'm out, then it becomes a business transaction.
She's already out. She's going to look for the most that she can get. This was a year ago. This really isn't that long ago. This is just from a year ago. She has left the nest.
And then we're going to go down that road together.
Well, Ella, John's right. We certainly can help anybody get out of debt, but you guys aren't even. We got to reconcile some huge issues here.
Well, and something else to think about the debt. The fact that the husband has $200,000 in debt means he's at the tip of what he can afford. So yeah, he may be what is it they say? It's not what you make, it's what you keep. So the fact that the husband, even though he clearly is a six-figure guy, a multiple six-figure guy, I'm assuming, okay, with $12,000 a month in attorney fees, okay, even that is clearly stretching him if his attorney bill alone is $200,000.
One is he's not going to stop fighting for his son. At least that's his position up to this point.
Right.
So we've got to get clear on that, because you're going, I don't want to parent this kid at the house. Forget the money piece.
Yeah.
The money piece is exorbitant. And
Thank you. I feel like I feel like I've done my audience right, okay? That's exactly what I was saying. These are two completely separate things. These are non-negotiables, each standing on their own.
it's probably going to keep growing. So John's absolutely right. This is a relationship call right now, because then we decide, what do we do with the money? Yeah. I'm just curious, how much money does he make?
Thank you.
Well, he's in the Army Reserves, and he's a real estate agent. So these last 2 years has been really, really good money. But he's only sold one house this month because of everything going up. So,
whoa, he may not make the money that I thought. I was figuring this guy was just making. How's he paying 12? She mean 12,000 or 1,200? I could have sworn she said 12,000. When we get into this, I may play that back one more time. I could have sworn she said 12,000.
Last year he made almost $400,000.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, well, I'm feeling better here because I'm like, I could have sworn. Okay, so last year he made 400,000, but we know what real estate is: way up, way down, way up, way down. Very volatile.
And we have nothing to show for that.
Right.
Well, your attorney has everything to show for it.
Are you currently paying the $12,000 in the legal fees? Is he paying on that, or is that just racking up?
He's paying with a credit card, so I think it's just racking up.
Okay. We're all just gonna pause. Everybody, just gonna pause. Rub the temples. Whenever you think your day is just not going quite right, whenever you think that that there's too much, that parking ticket you got that you shouldn't have got, shouldn't have gotten, yeah, just keep. Oh Lord, keep it all in perspective. Holy cow! Okay, for those of you who are walking, I'm telling you, both of them. All three of us just look painful. We all look painful. Okay, wow. This is not quite the roller coaster ride I was expecting.
Finances, so I don't know, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so he doesn't tell me financially. I have no idea.
Hey, Ella,
let me know anything.
Ella, are you safe?
So she is financially blind to anything that's going on, and God forbid Ella, I think that's her name, do not sign off on his taxes. If you sign off on his taxes, you become legally liable if the taxes should be done wrong. Legally liable. And it doesn't matter if you don't know. You can't claim ignorance. If you sign off on his taxes and it turns out he owes Uncle Sam another $100,000, you're on the hook for it. If you sign off on his taxes, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Safe.
Hold on, I gotta back that up. Hold on.
Mom, so he doesn't tell me financially. I have no idea.
Hey,
John.
Ella,
He doesn't let me know anything.
Ella, are you safe?
Like he's not. I'm sorry.
Ella, are you safe?
He's not physically abusive, but it's like he doesn't. We have an age gap, and it's like he treats me like I'm his child, and
Well, yeah. He keeps everything from you. He doesn't want you to know.
my family wants me to leave him.
Yeah, what are you sticking around for at this point? What are you sticking around for? You don't like the child, okay? So there's a non-negotiable. He has a child. He's not going to give that child up. So there's a non-negotiable. He's going to fight for custody of his child. That's a non-negotiable. And that's just on the child end. Forget all the other sleuthing around.
But I don't want to do that to my kids because I promised myself I wouldn't let my kids go through my childhood.
Hey, you know what? We can make all them promises we want. We can make all, and I promised I wouldn't have 2 bankruptcies. Wait, I don't have any kids. Well, I mean, really, we can make all the promises that we want to ourselves, to other people, but there are times when keeping those promises is really just going to financially destroy us, or emotionally, mental health wise, destroy us.
But I'm 24 and he's 49, or almost 49.
Bingo. I don't like to say that this is hot tea at its best. This is hot tea. 24 and 49. Okay. I'm going to back up. I'm going to say something. She married him for the money. Yeah, she may have thought she loved him. He was able to flash a really nice lifestyle. And she thought she had it made. And she thought the 10-year-old child would just come maybe for an occasional visit. That's what she thought. She married all that glittered. That's what she did. She married all that glittered. She's 24. He's 50. First of all, what the hell is a 50-year-old man doing hanging out with a 24-year-old? What do you discuss? The latest TikTok? Look, I'm not here. Love who you want to love. I don't care. But in reality, I have to go, what? I'm 56. So let me drop myself down 7 years, and start dating a 24-year-old guy. Okay, what do we have in common? We won't even go there. She married this guy, I guarantee it to you, for the lifestyle. And he was able to impress her based on the lifestyle. But what she's learning as an adult is all that glitters is not gold. And when it comes to saying I do, there are some serious responsibilities that have to be taken into account. And it's not playland. Children are not dolls that, we can just shuffle away when we feel like it. She does hold responsibility in this, without a doubt. He holds the greater part, okay? His age, his experience, all right? But she, too, is also accountable.
Okay. So I am never, ever going to tell, and if somebody's in the midst of unsafe abuse, I'm going to tell somebody to get out, okay? I'm not going to tell you to pull the trigger here. I don't know necessarily that I agree. I think that there's harder things going on in your home than you're saying out loud. Is that fair?
Yes, that is.
Okay. I want you to call somebody today. And if you've got family members who say, we love you and we're seeing something that you're not seeing, what you're hanging on to is a picture of a fantasy that you created.
Thank you.
Because you don't want your kids to experience what you did, which is beautiful.
All that's gold. Okay, all that glitters is not gold.
And great and good. I'm glad you did that. The reality is your picture has changed.
And that's when promises need to be broken. Some promises aren't meant to be kept. They're just not.
And now the question is, are you going to hang on to that old picture and drown and bring them with you? Or are you going to create something new?
And break a promise to do it, and that's okay.
ASAP. And most of us, when we're drowning, we cannot get out by ourselves. We need other people. And you've got people around you saying, hey, we're going to help, we're going to help, we're going to help. Please lean on them. Okay?
I agree. And I would just say, Ella, you cannot fix this marriage on your own.
Absolutely not.
Your husband is, you can't
She's only 24. I think that's what she said, 24.
put that glass back together on your own. I think it's
Let
not
it
a
go.
threat, but I think we got to see if he wants this marriage.
I can tell you right now, he does.
She doesn't want the marriage. I don't even think it matters if he wants it. She doesn't want it because she can't accept the conditions that the marriage would have to be in. And again, that is okay. It's okay. The problem is that this wasn't partly because of her youth, okay? And like I said, this video is only a year old, so partly because of her youth, going, oh, this wealthy man who makes all this money is in love with me. But she probably drove a nice car, lived in a nice house, was, able to eat more than oatmeal, which is what I sometimes have eaten for dinner during my time in trying to get out of, to becoming debt free. All right. I mean, lives that. This is why I've learned not to envy people that look like they are wealthy. I have learned not to envy. Yeah, I mean, I can be, just casually, if it's like, it's nice to have that, but to really be envious, to really think they've got it made, this is what you sometimes get. Probably more often than we think.
Doesn't, right? He wants a daughter, and that's not you.
Yeah.
It's time for you to reach out to your family, and y'all start making a game plan of what comes next. And if you are being hurt, get out.
All right, folks. Wow. That was some serious tea. That was some serious tea. All right, folks. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you guys have a great, what is it, tomorrow? I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Bye.